Hello, brief calculus students. Okay, so this week we are getting ready for our first test in this class, and I want to make sure everybody feels comfortable knowing what to expect and knowing how to prepare. So, you have already gone down to here and found that we're here in test number one review section right now. And what you're seeing here is the first part here is a review sheet. Now, the key thing you need to understand about this is a small sample of the types of problems that you may see on the test. They're not exactly the problems. They may not even be the same problems at all. But what I want you to understand is these are the key ideas. So when you're studying section 2.1, these are the three main ideas you should be keeping in mind. So making sure you are understanding how to find average rate of change and just be able to discuss its meaning, being able to describe it in words, being able to write sentences about it. Meaning is important. Okay, then also know what the average rate of change looks like on a graph, aka a secant line, so on and so forth. So as you're studying, make sure you really pay attention to these key ideas. Make sure you can do those things. Now, I've given you a few problems to help get the math juices going again. Make sure you're kind of remembering the sections, but don't expect these problems to mirror what's going to be on your test. They might be something different. But what I can guarantee you is it's going to talk about these three things. Now, I may not be able to do every single bullet point here, but for every problem on the test, you should be able to point back and say, oh, yeah, that was this one right here, or something like that. You should be able to identify which of these key ideas every problem is referring to. Okay? Now, you'll notice that continues on for each section. Each section has its key ideas, and then there's a few practice problems. Now, when we go back to the main page, you'll see here there's walkthroughs. So here what you'll see is if you needed help doing one of the problems, or if you want to see if you did it right, well, that's what these walkthroughs are for. These videos will take you through every problem that's in the review. Now, so how to study. You do this walkthrough, absolutely, but this is not enough. You need to go back through your website homework and not your website, excuse me. You need to go back through your MathAS homework and make sure that you understood how to do everything. And then, you also need to go back through the book problems. Go back into every section and look at the problems in the back of every section and at least thought about them. Even if you didn't know if they're right or wrong, do you understand what they're saying? You know, if you did it, you don't know if you got it right or wrong, at least you understand what the problem's asking for. Do you have an idea of how to attempt it? So if I happen to pull off one of these problems and put it on the test, have you at least thought about it? You never know if you'll get it right or wrong unless you check the answers, or you can email me and ask me if you got it right or wrong. That'll tell you. But at least have thought about it so it doesn't come out of the blue and so if you don't know what something means, ask. Okay, now, so that's how you review. That's how you're going to review. You're going to do all the book problems for each of the sections, and you're going to do your MathAS homework and look at that stuff, and make sure you're focusing on those bullet points. Now, what is your test going to look like? Because this is the next most important part. How you prepare should be how you test. So I want you to understand what you're going to be seeing. Now, I can't show you the test, but I will go ahead and give you an idea of what you're going to be seeing. And it's essentially, if I remember correctly, you're going to be seeing the problems one at a time. So the problems will look identical to that of a MathAS assignment, except you're going to say, I'm going to do problem number one, and then and then you click submit for the problem, and then it brings you to the next question. And there is a practice test that's not graded, so you can go into it and see what a test is going to feel like before you go in and take your first test that's actually graded. So, I think it's number one, and then down at the bottom it says submit or something like that. Now, the next important thing to know is that when you submit your problem, you're not going to see if you got it right or wrong, because during a test in class you wouldn't see if it's right or wrong. So that's one little piece of information that might be a little different. But the other piece is you can always come back and retry any of the problems during the time limit of the test. The one negative is you have to go through all of them. When you finish, you have to start back at problem number one and then click all the way through. So you might want to make a note of which problems do I want to go back to. It's not as easy to just kind of like scan a paper and see what problem you have a little star by. So you might need to say, oh, okay, problem number one, and then on paper, on your scratch paper, note, this is the problem I need to go back to. The next thing, now this is the really important thing. The grades you get in MathAS, the grades that you're not even seeing what your grades are anyway, but the grades you earn don't matter. No, not at all. I am not grading this test based off of an answer in MathAS. I am grading it based off of your work. So it is incredibly important you are on paper doing your work for problem number 1. Then, when you're done with problem number 1, do your work for problem number 2. Now, the one thing I hate and do not ever want to see is when you're doing your work, you say, oh, no, I don't want to do that. You scratch it out. No. That's why they invented erasers. Or get a new piece of paper. Okay? The next thing is your work needs to be in a neat and orderly fashion. It needs to go problem number 1, then problem number 2, then problem number 3, then problem number 4. So have lots of paper, so that way if you need to, you can just interject new pieces of paper instead of trying to scratch out and things getting very messy. Because this is where you'll be earning your grade. I will be grading your work on your paper, just like if it was a normal test that you're taking with me in class. So, how do you get the paper to me? Well, we are going to use an app that's called OneNote. It is a part of the Microsoft Office suite. So if you have Office 2000, well, actually, if you're on a PC and you've had Office since forever, you have OneNote already installed. If you are on a Mac, it now is part of Office 365. If you have an Android phone, iOS phone, Amazon phone, Windows phone, any kind of phone, as long as it has like an actual smartphone, OneNote is a free app from the App Store, so you can go ahead and download that. And in the next video, I'm going to, in the next part of this video, I'm going to walk you through how to actually upload your work into OneNote. So you're just going to, it's really most simple if you have any kind of access to any kind of smartphone, because then you literally just take a picture of it and upload it. And you'll see in the video, it's super easy. If you don't have a smartphone or a tablet, well, you can simply just do it from your computer, like I'm doing right now. So like right now I'm in OneNote on my computer, and for example, if I wanted to put a picture in, I just go insert, I could go over here and say where's picture, pictures, there we go, and you'll see it brings up my computer. So what you'll have to do is take a picture of your work and upload it to your computer, and then when you actually went to insert and put the picture in, how did I lose picture already? I wonder if I can find one that's not too sensitive. You'll see what happens here. The picture, here, I'll use this one. When I put a picture in, boop, it's in, and now it is automatically uploaded to me. I get your picture, all is wonderful, and you do nothing else. It's so much easier than saving and uploading and emailing and blah blah blah. Now the next thing, why do I do this? Well, I want to grade your work because math isn't about getting a right answer, it's about the process and getting the right answer. And I don't want you to feel super stressed that if you miss a negative sign, you went from 100% on a problem to a 0 on a problem. No, that's not how it works. Next thing is I will be able to give you feedback as I go through and grade your test in OneNote. I will be able to write all over it and kind of circle what you did wrong and all that kind of stuff. So if it's in OneNote, it's much easier for me to edit and give feedback. Also, when it's in OneNote, it's your job to make sure everything is in a nice order, makes sense, everything's facing right side up. So if you, like for example, need to rotate a picture, you click on it, and then you say, oh, I need to rotate, and then you can choose which way you want to rotate it. It was rotated. Oh, there we go. So that way you can make sure everything's right side up, easy for me to grade. And this is the easiest way for me to do this, and for you guys and for myself. So, as far as that goes, once you're finished your test, here's the key piece. Once you've finished your test, you are going to have 30 minutes to get your work from page into OneNote. So I would highly recommend over this next week, before you take your test, practice using OneNote. Take a picture, upload it, ask me if I got it. Send me a message in MathAS asking me if your pictures showed up, and I'd be glad to check for you. Now, you're not going to be able to sign up for OneNote until, and the video is going to make mention of a link. After the video is posted, I will then open your special classroom notebook for OneNote. where it'll send a link to your Maricopa email, and then that will be the link you'll have. And I'll also put the link in MathAS. But so just note, you don't have your OneNote link yet until it fires to the email and it's posted in MathAS. Okay, so now please watch the next portion of the video that's about setting up your OneNote. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through how to set up OneNote. Now, I would highly recommend on your device, where I think the easiest device to do what I want to do on is your phone, if you have a smartphone, but it works equally as well on an iPad, or you can also use your computer. But the key thing here is when you're doing tests or quizzes, well, actually, when you're just doing tests, you're going to need to upload your work to me. And the way I want you to do that is in OneNote. It's experimental. We're going to have to feel our way through this semester. This is the first time it's ever been available for me to do what I'm about to do. So hopefully there won't be too many bumps and bruises. We'll give this a shot. But the idea here, you're going to take pictures of your work and upload them in OneNote. That's why it's easiest to do it on a phone, is because the camera's built right in. So there's no saving and sending and whatever. It's just once you have OneNote installed and you're in our class notebook, should be easy. So let me walk you through the step. First thing, whatever device you have, if you have Android or Apple, what you're going to do is go to the store, or Windows Phone or whatever. You're going to go to the store and you're just going to download OneNote. And on all devices, it is free. I've already have it installed on mine, but there you go. The next thing I was going to say is, if you own Office 365, OneNote's already on your computer. If it's not on your computer, PC, you have it. If it's Mac, you do this version through us at school, and it's free, and it includes OneNote in there. But through the phones, through the iPad, it's all free. You can just download it through the App Store. So then once it's downloaded, once it's installed, don't worry about setting it up. We're going to do that in a minute. What we're going to do is, you will have noticed you got an email from me that looks something like this, saying that I have shared a folder with you. I have shared the MAT 217 for if you're in the spring 2016, whatever it would be, whatever class you're in. And you're going to go ahead and click this link. Now, what's going to happen when you click this link is it's going to open up your Office 365 account. Now, your login, this is important. You can see, I'll go ahead and type it in just so you can kind of see this is what it might look like for you. What your login is it's your MEID at maricopa.edu. That's your login for the school. You have to make sure you do it at maricopa.edu. Now, the second you click to go type in your password, you'll notice it redirects you. And it seems a little worrisome until you realize it just took you to Maricopa Community Colleges. So that's okay. And I cannot type in my password here because you're all going to see it. Okay, so I believe I've got it recording again. I really hope I do. Yes, I do. Okay, so now you'll see I have my password typed in. I'm ready to go. So I'm going to hit sign in. And it's going to take us to line. Now, this is true. This will look the same no matter what device you're on. I had a student in class doing it on her Chromebook today. Worked fine. So the key is you can now get into our notebook. Here you go. You're on our classroom notebook. And what we need to be paying attention to, I'm going to go portrait. I apologize. There we go. What we're looking for here is, what I'm looking for is an option to open in OneNote. I'm going to pause this real fast. Okay, got that weird pop-up to go away. So now, you will see here what I was looking for at the top of the screen, which I'm not able to get to pop up because it's so cramped on here, but at the top there's usually a open in OneNote option, but the truth of the matter is I don't need it. I don't need it at all. I'm actually done, because just by you going to this page, you have now gotten access to the notebook. So what I'm going to do now is just go to my app where I've already have OneNote installed. I'm going to go ahead and click in. You'll notice it's asking me for my first login. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in. And it's recognizing I already have this, but if I wanted to sign in, I'll pretend, let's see, here we go. We're going to go ahead and sign in. We're going to sign in again, once again, with our MEID at maricopa.edu. And when you do that, it should redirect you. I think it already recognizes that I already have this account. I believe it would redirect you to the password for the Maricopa. So you're going to type that in one more time. And then it's going to download the notes. This is to a couple minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and pause. There we go. And just for full disclosure, I did get an error code while it was downloading. So all I did is just open the app back up, signed in just how I said the first time, and then the second time worked just fine. So now I am in. But what I am in is in my own personal notebook that's through Maricopa Community Colleges. It's not the class notebook. So what I'm going to do is back up in my notes. And for those of you who don't have any experience with OneNote, the big idea is it's a notebook where it has notebooks, sections, and then pages inside those sections. Okay, and that'll be a little easier to see when we're in our classroom notebook. So by you logging in, by just going into the OneNote, you now have access to the classroom one. So what I'm going to do is click Open Notebook. And you'll see this is a list of all the notebooks I have created. But you'll notice I now have access to our class, MAT 217 Spring 2016. And you should have access as well. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And now, again, it's going to take a minute to download. It's just checking for all the information, and it's bringing it all in. And the kind of neat thing here is there are actually 3 different notebooks inside our one classroom notebook. You'll notice on the screen you're seeing a collaboration space, and then under collaboration space it says using the collaboration space. So if I were to click on collaboration space, I'm now automatically in using it. And this is just going to give you an idea of what the collaboration space is. And this space it's like a Wild West where everybody in the class has access to read, write, edit, whatever. So whatever change anybody does in here, everybody can see in the class. And just to warn you, of course, I have access to see who made the changes, and I can always undo, redo, do all sorts of fun stuff. So be respectful, be mindful. You're dealing with a website that is housed by the school, so act appropriately. Okay, so anyways, I'll back up here. So that's the collaboration space. Now the content library, this is a library where everybody would have access in the course, but I'm the only one who can edit it. So the teacher can organize the material and the content and put it in their own notebook, but you do not have the ability to edit anything in here. And then finally, it's not showing up because there's no students in this section yet, but there's a third notebook that has students. I actually just decided to add my wife in just so you could see what it would look like this is actually what it would look like from your perspective, except instead of saying Jessica Dwork, it would say your name. And you will see under your name, you'll have 2 sections. You have tests and you have homework. These are the 2 sections that I expect you to be using. Homework would be if you have a homework question, instead of going through the process of uploading your work through WebAssign and doing all that fun stuff, you can use the process I'm about to go through to upload pictures of your work, and it should be a little more seamless. But the main purpose of this video is to getting you ready to take your first test. So I want to talk about the tests. And the process would be the same, homework or tests. So when you go to take your Chapter 3 test, when you go to take your first test, you are going to need to upload your work. You're going to have 30 minutes from the time you complete your test to upload all the images of your work for grading. The scores you earn in WebAssign are not your final grade. Your grade is going to be determined by the work you upload. So make sure you do your work nice, neat, you organize it well, so I can find problem 1, problem 2, problem 3. Things should be in order, and should be written out. So what we're going to do, I'm going to show you how to upload a picture. I'm going to go ahead and press tests under my wife's name. So you would do it under your name. Now the untitled page will fix on the next page. So when you go ahead and click on it, the bar at the top is where the title goes. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and I can just put it in here, test or you could just put chapter 3, whatever you want, just so I can figure out where we're looking. Chapter 3. So now if I back up a spot, you'll see now that page has a name of chapter 3. So now I'm on the page and I want to upload a picture of the work. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and tap anywhere on the screen, and you'll notice there's a little camera icon at the top of the screen. So I'm going to go ahead and check that. And you'll notice you have the option of taking an image from the gallery, or you can capture an image live. I'm going to go ahead and capture an image live right now with you guys. So I'm going to say capture photo. And I'm going to pretend this is my work. Now, any which way you do it, shouldn't matter too much. So I just capture the photo. I'm going to say okay. And it's going to go ahead and insert that picture, and there we go. So you could imagine that's problem number 1. So now I'm going to do it again, or what page number 1. So now you insert another photo, and rinse and repeat. Now the beautiful part about this is it's time-stamped, it's documented, it got uploaded at what time. So your big concern is make sure your work goes in vertically. So it's like I would be reading it on a sheet of paper, up and down. So even if you turn your phone to landscape, it still should have the correct orientation. Okay, so please make sure it's in the correct order. Problem 1, then problem 2, then problem 3. And again, you have 30 minutes to upload. So I would absolutely practice making sure you can do this process where you can get a picture uploaded, or you can get a picture into OneNote before you take your test. Okay? Now, the next thing that might be going through your head, okay, great, I've taken the picture, I've got all my pictures in here, how do I upload it? Well, the truth of the matter is when you close OneNote, it should sync automatically. But if you want to guarantee it's done, when you tap the settings, you'll see there's a sync, and it's telling me the section that we're on is tests. So I can press sync tests, and now it is automatically sent through the cloud into the classroom notebook, where that's all you need to do. You're covered. And so I'm hoping this makes your life better, my life better. And now for grading, I'll be able to write right on top of your work. So you'll get instantaneous feedback. If you're in the notebook when I happen to be grading your test, look at that. You're going to watch it happen live. So let me know if you have any questions on this, but that's how you go through the process of uploading your work to me in OneNote. And I do want to say, some of the menus, depending on your device, look different, but it's all the same basic idea. So if you have an issue, please let me know. I do have an iPad here where I can work from, but the issue is iPad doesn't let me screen capture. So it's hard for me to make a demo on it. All I can do is do a individual standstill screen capture. I can't do video. So try your best. And if you get stuck on a screen, let me know, and I can send you videos or send you images of what to press next. Okay? Best of luck.